So I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, January 29th, 2025, 6:15 p.m. remote participation meeting of the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust. In accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, OML, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting of the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID 818-0509-7403 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Alicia Hersey at ahersey@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 142, prior to the meeting. And with that being said, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And first line of business is to approve the agenda. Does anybody have any comments on the agenda, or can you get a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Sean.
I will second.
Thank you, Colleen. Moved and seconded. I'm going to ask one thing. The agenda currently has the spring CPC budget request as the second major item, but with James traveling home, I'd like him to be involved in the entire conversation. So if we can slide that later into the meeting, if that's okay with everybody, I'd like to do that. Suggest that. With that amendment, I'm going to play Hollywood Squares. Sean, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Colleen.
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
And Pat?
Aye.
And Jeff, the chair, says aye. Interim chair says aye. Second would be to approve the meeting minutes of 11/13/2024. Does anybody have any? I read through them a couple times, and I have nothing to add or change on them. Does anybody have anything they want to suggest as a change or an edit?
I don't even appear. I wasn't there. Not complaining, it's just I don't even appear.
Pat?
It's Pat. Does that matter?
I know.
I don't know.
So, Pat, guys, I'm going to take a moment and talk about the black hole of IT, and Pat's fallen into it. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, on to the office there of the IT, and he's wonderful. He's wonderful.
No,
And then, like 3 days ago, all of a sudden I could get on. I have no idea what happened. I couldn't tell you what the password is.
Yeah, but Pat also, for some reason, emails not getting to her, and Alicia and Pat were trying to sort that out beforehand. I was being a little tongue-in-cheek there, Pat. So.
Oh no, I understand.
I think we should make.
It's so annoying, you know. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I guess we're not having meetings.
Yeah. So I'm going to take your comment, Pat, to say, can we amend the minutes so the trustees who are absent would include Pat Bagney-Latimer?
Does it need to say that? I don't know.
We keep track. We keep track for the future.
And that's what I did. How accurate it needed to be.
Yeah. So I'm going to make that suggestion.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. With that said, if there's no other suggestions or edits, can I have a motion to accept with the edit? Or you already did that?
I don't know if we did it, but I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written with the amendment of adding Pat to the trustees missing.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you. I second.
Thank you, Pat. Moved and seconded. Assuming no further discussion, Sean, how do you vote?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Jeff and Chair votes aye also. Next is our audit presentation and review. I'm going to share a screen, and between us, between Alicia and I, we're going to do our best to get through this. I don't know if you all have had a chance to read the audit. Can you see that screen? Can you all see a screen?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Thank you. Again, so when you're when you run it, we now have a 2-screen setup, so it doesn't change the Hollywood squares on my screen like it used to make everyone small. So that's why I can't know. And it doesn't give me the outline here, so I can't tell. Anyway, so this is a copy of the audit. It's 16 pages long, and a great deal of it, besides the, if you haven't read it, I'm just going to walk us through it, is an introduction to the audit, which I'm not going to read out loud right now. This is a draft, and once we've approved the draft, it then gets posted on the website. So that's the process we talked to Barbara about. Pages 1 and pages 2, page 1 and 2 and 3 basically go through the process by which they go through the audit process. And then on the bottom of page 4, it starts out with our financial statement. Some of us are used to looking at very complex financial statements. This isn't at this point. So I'm going to read through it. It starts out saying that the following table represents the condensed comparative statements of net position for the 2 most recent fiscal years, 2023 and 2024. So in 2023, we had assets of 52,465. In 2024, the total assets grew to 193,788. The net position, total net position are the same numbers. 52,465 in 2023, and this is fiscal year as of June 30th. And in 2024, $193,788. It goes on to say, as noted earlier, the net position may serve over time as a useful indicator of a government's financial position. The assets and deferred outflows of resources of the trust exceeded its liabilities and deferred inflows of resources at the close of the most recent fiscal year by $193,788. I had to read that sentence multiple times to understand that it's positive. It's just the way if you look at it, the way they state it. So now we have the following table presents the condensed comparative statements of activities for the 2 most recent fiscal years. And I would think of this as an income statement, not a synopsis like we saw before. So on June 30th of 2023, we had $174 in investment income. The assumption is that's interest on the bank account. In 2024, we had $518 of interest on the bank account. We had contributions in 2023 of $7,500, contributions of $2,500 in 2024, for a total revenue of $7,674 in 23 and $3,018 in 24. Expenses. Health and Human Services were our only expense category. $39,718 was spent in 2023, and $61,695 was spent in fiscal year 2024. Total expenses match those numbers. Change in net position before transfers. We had a negative balance of $32,044, June 30th, 2023. And a negative balance of $58,677 in 2024. Excuse me for a moment. That's James calling in. I'm going to mute myself. Actually, I won't. Hello, James. Yeah. Oh, you got okay. Jeep JEP BMW85 at gmail.com. Got it. I sent it to the other ones. I'll do that right now, James. Thank you. Yeah, I got a new email. Excuse me for a moment, if you don't mind.
Alicia, are you available for a question?
Yes, and actually, I'm going to maybe suggest that we abort this because I've seen a mistake that
Are
I
people
missed
there?
before.
Are people there?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Hello.
Because I just lost the screen.
No.
We're
We're
here.
no
There it is.
longer looking at the budget presentation.
That I know. But what happened is I lost all your beautiful faces because I had to move things around. I wanted to send James has to change his email address. So we had a change in that position before transfers of negative
Hold on,
58,006.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Alicia was saying that we should abort this. There's a mistake or an error.
There's a mistake that I missed before when I was looking at it, so I'm going to need them to go back and correct something.
Okay. With that being said, can I just get through this and
Sure.
we'll vote not to accept it because we've uncovered
Okay,
something in
great.
the discussion. We had transfers in of 60 grand in 2023, 200,000 in 2024, and the net position at the beginning of the year in 23 was 24,509, 52,465 in 2024, and our net position at the end of the year is 52,465 at the end of 2023 fiscal, and 193,78 at the end of 2024. Thank you. But I found it interesting the way they do the accounting. Any questions about?
Can
Excuse me for a
I
minute.
ask what about the contributions?
That's the
hold on.
mistake that
I've got
they
James
made.
calling me again. Excuse me.
That's the error.
Yes, James.
That's
would they-
It's in the. It's attached to your email. Let me give you. Oh, you can't click on the Zoom. You have to type in a number. There's no Zoom link anymore. You just go to Zoom and you say join, and there's a number in there that starts with 818.
I clicked on the.
You look at the agenda, please. Yeah, in the paragraph at the top, about dead center and down near the bottom of that paragraph is a number that starts with, I believe, 818. Yep. Yeah, and if you go into just go to zoom.com on your browser, click on join and type that number in, it'll get you here. Yep, the 818 number. Thank you, sir. Okay, bye-bye. Technology marches forward. Yes, Colleen, you were asking?
Oh, I had just asked about, it sounds like this is what the mistake is. I was wondering what the contributions were.
Mm-hmm. I had a similar question.
So I went through it and talked to Barbara about it, but what I missed was the contributions, and that is a different fund. That is our fund for emergency fuel assistance, I think. And I explained that to them when they did the audit.
Uh-huh.
Because they are in the same account, and we were having this discussion this week whether we needed to separate those two accounts or not.
Yeah.
And possibly we do. Because it was given to them. I gave them a spreadsheet explaining all of it, and I see it in there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I missed it before I sent it out to you.
Well, thank you for pointing out. I was curious about the contributions also because I don't recall us having anybody give us money.
No,
However,
contributions were for 2 years of fuel assistance.
I understand. Thank you. But I have a feeling because the money is in the same account, they're going to account for it this way.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume next year it'll be broken out with a footnote. I know if I was the guy who did this work and there was a mistake, I'd probably, I'm not, because the money is in the same bank account, it has to be accounted for some way.
Yes.
So I'm going to guess that's what's going to happen. But I'm also going to suggest we don't accept this draft at this point. Pat, do you have a question or a comment?
Is someone there going to ask a question? I don't want to interrupt it.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. Is this, and I'm sorry, I didn't get the second email once again today. Is this part of that email?
Yes.
Yes, and this
Okay,
was also,
so-
this was also sent out prior to the November meeting. So
But I didn't get anything.
I
From
understand.
Yes, she
like the
hasn't
end
been
of
getting her
October,
emails.
so I didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna
But it's
start
okay.
sending,
I'll look at it tomorrow. I just wanted to be sure.
and I'm gonna start sending Pat's mail to a different
We're
address.
going to do it differently. Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
why. It takes time. But anyhow, but thank you. Sorry. I just wanted to be sure that was something I have an opportunity to look at. I know we're not approving
Yeah.
it today, but just so I have a chance to look. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I agree. Colleen, thank you. And thank you, Alicia, for pointing out when I was reading it through, when I was reading through this again today, that question came up. And then there's one other question I have, I want to point out, and that is, if we go to the next page, at the top of the next page under budgetary highlights, it says, the trust does not adopt a legally voted budget. I can't figure out what that sentence is supposed to mean. Anybody have a guess?
It's,
Not a
our,
clue.
our guess is
Yeah.
that,
So I was going to recommend, even if we had the numbers correct, that we might ask a question as the trust on what that sentence actually means.
Mhm.
The next one down, I understand the trust does not have capital assets or debt. That I get. We don't own any buildings. We don't owe anybody money. I mean, all we actually have are obligations to give money on behalf of the people we sponsor to landlords, but that's not debt per se. So any other further questions on this or comments at this point?
I think we're-
I think, be honest with you, I think it's a requirement to have the audit done. I think it's elucidating that it got done. And hopefully after speaking with Roselli, Clark and Associates, we'll get this squared away and we'll have a copy of it to look at our next meeting with any amount of good fortune. But thank you. Next on the hit list, would you like to talk about the Ayer Rental Assistance Program update, please, Alicia?
So it's going well. We've sent out over probably about 12 applications so far. We've had some new requests and we've got 5 applications in already. And I know that there's others coming.
How many
It goes to
open?
February 17th.
Mhm. How many openings do we currently have?
Well, it's all 12 openings because you have to apply every year. So this is for the next program year.
Maybe I missed what you said. We have returning people applying, correct?
Yes. So we have 3 people who are coming off because they've done 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have a number of people who've done 2 years, and this will be their 3rd year. If they are the most needy, we changed that so they don't automatically end up getting accepted into the program. It goes to the most needy people. So everybody has to apply and give me all the documentation. People's finances change in a year, that sort of thing. So we have 5 applications in. We've sent out about 10 or 12, I think it is. Sent them out to all the past people, but we've got 3 new people applying,
Okay,
and we've had lots of inquiries.
fantastic. And that's through February 17th.
Yes, and it's posted online, and I'll probably repost it again, just to, a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
But-
who knows of families who need it, please just send them my way.
Fantastic. Do you feel like people had seemed to be more people knowing about it this year? In the past couple of years, we were concerned that we weren't getting the word out enough.
I've been having lots of people ask about it, and there's been people who put in applications mid-year just so that they would be on the list to get a phone call, because I call everybody who's applied before to it and or gone on to wait lists. And so there's been, and I'm also calling the people who are dropping off in hopes that they were working with the social worker in hopes that they found other things to help them. it's a lot of, so I do feel like it's getting, the word is getting out. What I do find is people that went onto the wait list sometimes don't try a second time. And so that's why I call around and encourage them to try a second time.
Okay, thank you.
May-
Go ahead, Pat.
Okay. Do we know what's happening with these folks? And the reason I'm asking is I'm finding more and more, I show units, rentals, people that need the help. They need the money and they don't want to make an application. They don't want to pull their credit. Are you finding that they just don't want to do the paperwork? I don't understand.
Well, the paperwork is, I require them documenting their incomes, and they have to give me all their financials, and it is a lot of work. I mean, I make them give me their bank accounts and that sort of thing. So the ones that want to do it with bells on. They do a great job. They fill it out. They have me their paperwork. Some of them, one or two of them had it within 3 days of it opening up. And when they get used to it, they're not so bad about it. I think that they don't think they're going to get it or something. I don't know. But we,
I don't trying to help them. Ron and I find the same thing, and I'm sorry just to interject this, but it's like I don't understand why they don't want to do just the paperwork to get this process moving. I don't know how to fix it. So it sounds like, but it sounds like it's the same issue.
We do have other people who are helping people that are, interfacing with people. And I've had a number of applications requests from them, and they help them do the paperwork. And they're very excited about the program because it's a real answer for them where they're trying to help somebody get stabilized. And here's a program that possibly could really go a long ways on that.
Right, can move you in the right direction. Okay, thank you, because I really sometimes I just wonder.
It brings to mind. Yeah, it brings to mind. Yeah, anecdotally, Bonnie and I have a son, and if paperwork pops up, he walks the other way, even if it's the best thing in his life. It's
right.
Tough. It's tough for some folks.
Danger.
But Alicia, thank you. Any comments or questions on the upcoming rental assistance program from anybody at this point? It sounds like it's moving along in pretty much the same as it has in the past. I'm going to give James a... Yes, Pat?
No, it's Alicia.
Oh, Alicia.
I do want to say something that so many people have said to me so that you guys feel good about this. The people that are getting it just think that it's the most wonderful thing. And I do get calls from Shirley asking if they can enroll in the program. And the Shirley Town Housing Committee is trying to set a program up in Shirley too. They've been calling me and asking me for direction on how to do this. And so, but the nice thing is, and I'd love you guys to hear some of the comments about people say, this has saved my life. This has made it so that I could just get current, get ahead, make plans. And so I want you all to know that the people who are receiving it are so thankful.
That's awesome. And though it's nice to hear. I'm wondering, we're going to make we have the quarterly newsletter through the town clerk's office. I wonder if the next update might have something like that.
Yeah.
A couple of quotes. This has made a difference. This has allowed it. And I'm hoping this is James.
Alicia, to add to that, I've had experience locally out in my driveway clearing the car off, and one of my neighbors came by and we were chatting, and she said, there's a wonderful program here in town. I said, is there? Oh, yes. And I played stupid because you know what? I live in the area. I don't want people knocking on my door. Love you guys dearly. It's not going to happen here. And but it was just just singing the glory of how it brought her current on her utilities, able to go out and purchase a special dinner roast or whatever, because she got that extra assistance every month. And she said, I'm putting money away and blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's awesome. And she said, so if you pay rent, you should go down to town hall. Thank you so much. I didn't want to say, no, we own the house, but I said, I'm just going to leave her alone. She is doing such a good thing. So they did sing your praises about going down there and how wonderful you were to work with.
Well, they're singing everybody's praises because I say this is a program put forward on our by the trust. And so it is making a difference for the people who are using it.
That's wonderful. And
Amazing.
I wonder if we should, maybe anecdotally, the member of CPC who's sitting in this meeting might actually want to share that with CPC after we make our request. It's nice.
Definitely was thinking the same thing, Jeff, that we should mention that, as part of the funding request to the committee.
I think it would be nice. It's in a strange way, it's good to hear good news, and it's just anyway. Fantastic. James, is that you? No, he's muted. So.
Not yet.
No, we've had another person join. We've had another person join. FTND 8B10. So the next on the agenda is something I put there back in November. A proposed alternate position on the trust. And as many of you know, we have alternates on some of the committees and some of the boards in town. And they are there in order to help continue the business of the board or the trust or the committee if we don't have a quorum and we're short. So I was approached by a gentleman. His name is Chris Valentine. He and his wife live over on Snake Hill. They've got a bunch of kids in the school, and he was going to be here this evening, but he's in the PTO basketball game tonight as a fundraiser up at the school. Colleen knows about this. I don't know what it was, but he felt so bad. He got a hold of me today. He says, oh my God, I didn't check the family calendar. I can't make it. So Colleen, you any?
Yeah, the rest of my crew is there.
Oh, I'm sorry that you're there. So Chris Valentine, I'll let him introduce himself at our next meeting. I have approached the town manager about the opportunity to have an alternate on the trust. And as you can all imagine, town manager's pretty busy these days with lots of stuff going on. So I imagine when this cycle's up again, we'll get an answer. I'll be chatting with the town manager's office about this again in the next week or so, just to put a tickler on them. Next on our agenda.
Jeff, could we take a vote as if that the trust supports this or something?
Oh yeah, thank you. That's actually a great thing because I don't know what the process is for getting an alternate.
And
as sorry,
the board has to approve it to expand the trust. The select
board.
Which, I mean, yeah, if this trust approves it, you could probably just ask to be on our next board meeting, so that we can expand it. I don't know if we can expand it and add Chris in the same night, but at least get it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, and Chris wants to see what we do because Chris really wants to be Chris wants to start volunteering in town, and he's interested in housing, and this is something that he was interested in doing. He's got a background in housing and some development similar to what Bob has. I'm hoping if he's around if we can get Ayer Commons off the ground, he'd be a good person to help carry the load with that project too. So, Pat.
Yes.
I don't know if when your square turns yellow, sometimes I think you want to have a comment. If not, it's just.
Oh, I haven't. That's weird. I'm sitting here, haven't touched the phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
what's
just,
happening?
it's picking up ambient noise. Your neighbors are slamming their doors, their car doors. So that's
Okay.
what's going on with the alternate position on the trust. If somebody wants to make a motion to add an alternate member, or I make a motion that the trust recommends we.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello?
I was saying move that the. Go ahead.
Positive.
I'm sorry, Pat.
I think we should do it.
Okay, so why don't I make a motion that the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust approach the select board about adding an alternate position to the housing trust?
Seconded?
Thank you, Sean. Any further discussion?
Can I just ask one quick question? So this would not expand our membership. It would add one additional alternate. So the quorum number would remain the same. Would just be if we don't have full membership, we have somebody else able to help us meet the quorum. Am I understanding that right?
That is my understanding. Also, if a member were to find they can no longer serve their position, if it's not an appointed position, like mine's an appointed, Sean's is an appointed position, yours is an appointed position, Colleen.
Right.
But if we couldn't find a member, this would be someone who'd kind of be in our pocket, if you will. I shouldn't say it that way. Would be immediately available to become a full member of the trust.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, that's a great question. Sean, how do you vote?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye, with a question. Sorry. So is this person coming to any meeting that they wish, or is it only by invitation because we don't have a quorum? I just want to understand.
They will. I'll answer that question, and let me finish the vote, okay? And I'll answer the
Okay,
question.
sorry.
Cindy
Aye.
and Jeff votes aye. So the answer to your question is they'll come to every meeting, just like we all do.
Okay, well, they're welcome.
And,
Okay,
well,
just
and
wanted to-
yeah. How it works with the planning board is we have a Kathleen Keschel is our alternate member, and she is actually a member sitting at the table all the time. And if we're in a situation where a member misses a meeting and a special permit has to be voted on, you need a what's called a supermajority. Kathleen can step in and vote for the elected member who's not there, so we can keep the business of the going forward. That's why they exist.
That's
in
why-
that. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I asked if they were going to be at the meetings, because I
Yes.
wouldn't want them to step in blindly. That was my point, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
They carry the same load, honestly. Oh, hey, James.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. Don't know if you were in the conversation just now about the alternate. How would you like to vote?
I say yes.
Thank you. So, great. Good to see you, James. Sorry about the confusion tonight. So
I do have a question about the Zoom all of a sudden. Has everything changed? You no longer just send out the Zoom where you can just click on the Zoom. You got to go through all this. It's not like it used to be.
I was able to click on the link and go right into Zoom, so I'm surprised that you weren't able to.
I didn't
Yeah.
get a link. That's the only thing. I did not get a link.
yeah, so James, I'm going to talk to Max about this because you and Pat aren't getting some of the emails from us. So we went through a little kerfuffle with the mail system late last year. Somebody sent one of those phishing emails that erupted all over town at one point, and there was an update done to the email system. So I'm going to ask and make sure that you guys are still in the mix.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll talk to Max about that. This all happened just after Cindy stepped down and Max stepped in, and there just may be a miss on who is on which list.
All right, thank you.
And Pat, as people, I'll check with Max on after this, and it may require you to have a quick conversation with Max along the way.
That's fine. That's fine.
So let me catch you up quickly. We did the audit presentation review. We found an issue with it, so we're not going to vote to accept the draft this evening. Cindy, Alicia's going to go back and talk about and talk to the auditor. We moved our spring CPC budget request till you got on with us so we could have a full conversation. Alicia gave us an update on the Air Rental Assistance Program. I'll tell you about it later. It's going well. We just talked about the alternate, and now we're going to talk about Air Commons, update and opportunities for advocacy. And I know I've done a lot of talking, and actually Alicia and I were talking to Phil. You want to fill people in, Alicia, with what's going on with Phil?
Well, I thought you had a good conversation with him, but Jeff has been emailing him and I've chimed in. They are not eligible to go for the one-stop tax credit program till possibly this summer or fall. They're not eligible for this winter round. I think it's because of the last round. They have to wait a certain amount of time. They did recommend that people write to Ed Augusta, our new director of formerly DHCD and now EOLHC or something like that.
Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, EOHLC. Yeah, I had to memorize that one. Yep.
And I think that's a very good idea. And they were suggesting actually instead of the board sending a formal letter, he'd love to have people drop notes. And I will send the information of where you might drop a note saying how important this is to our community. So, and I can send that out in an email tomorrow to everyone.
Yeah, I always check in with Phil just before the meeting to find out where we stand. And Phil said, Secretary Augustus is getting bombed with requests because this is a hot topic. He said, why don't you consider sending a handwritten note? So that's basically what Alicia's saying. I know I will send a handwritten note to Augustus on him, see if it gets to his desk and help him get along the way. I mean, the focus on affordable housing out here is huge in this area. So our project's not dead, but it's probably not going to come up for funding at this point until earliest in the summer, which is frustrating. Which brings us to the CPC request for our the Springtown meeting CPC budget request. And hopefully everyone's had a chance to take a look at that. And I'm going to pop up a copy here on the screen. Hopefully you can all see that. I know, Pat, you can't.
No, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So there's one or two misspellings that Alicia and I have gone over, and I think she sent it out to people. And the application is the same application we used before. We're just changing the dates and Alicia, correct me if I'm wrong, but the reasoning's the same also.
Yes.
And so where we are is last year we asked for $200,000, and this year's application is also for $200,000. And as I read through the minutes from our November meeting, we left it kind of open in case there was something else we wanted to add in or something else we wanted to do. And I'm really looking forward to hearing how people feel about the request this year. Don't everybody jump in at once.
Scroll down.
I'm happy to have us ask for the same amount that we asked for last year. We're keeping the funding level for the rental assistance program, and the additional money asked will let us, again, continue to build that reserve fund for purchasing affordable housing. I don't think without a firm plan that we would want to go higher than what we went last year is my instinct. I think sticking with the same amount feels like the right way to go, but just my thoughts.
I think we should stick with the same amount too, at least for a second year.
Okay.
I agree with both of you wholeheartedly.
It sounds like somebody wants to make a motion.
I make a motion that go ahead.
James, sorry, it's Pat.
I second. You made the motion, I second.
So if, because of the confusion, the motion is that we ask for the same, for $200,000 from CPC for fiscal year 26. For the next
Correct.
year, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, I know I got that wrong, Sean, sorry. For the next year. Thank you. Okay, so Pat, how do you vote?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you. Cindy?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
And Jeff says aye. Well, there we go. I will sign, we'll fix the two misspellings we found on it, or the one misspelling. And Alicia, I'll make sure I come by and sign it tomorrow.
Sounds good.
If you're not there, leave it on the other desk, but I should be in around 3 o'clock, 3:15, okay?
Can you
Perfect.
also fix the lowercase t to make it an uppercase T?
In Copeland?
No. On the line where after project manager, where it says Air
Yeah.
Affordable Housing Trust, capitalize that T in trust like every place else.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I missed that one. What I got was farther down, it says one Meehan Street. Yeah, Meehan Street. So that went for Main Street. And then the only other question I had for it was, we show $3,000 for administration. We don't know what the cost is, but we assume that's what it's going to be. And that's close enough. We discovered. Well, thank you all. Let me get back to the agenda.
Jeff, this will have to go, the CPC meets next week. And
Yep.
so you'll reach out to Janet and get on the agenda, and I'll be at the meeting, so.
Yep. Janet called Alicia and I the other day. We all ran into Janet for different things the other day, and yeah, this came up. So I have a feeling tomorrow after I sign the copy on behalf of the trust, I'll probably deliver it to Janet. We'll get it over to her. I'll walk it downstairs and get it scanned, and we'll get it over to you guys. What else is in front of CPC this year? Do you know, Colleen? Anything else going on? Not to put you on the spot.
Yes, there will also be at that meeting, I believe, a proposal from the library.
For the roof. There's a new library roof.
Right,
Yep.
as part of, because it's a historic building for historic funding. So I think the plan is we'll vote on both of those, and then assuming they both get approved to go to a public hearing, we'll have a public hearing for both proposals in March.
Fantastic. And so this is going to be heard by CPC next week at the next meeting, which is what day?
Wednesday.
The 4th or the 11th?
No, next Wednesday. What's
The 5th.
the
The 5th.
5th?
The 5th.
Yes. So yes, it'll be heard by CPC on Wednesday the 5th, and then the first Wednesday in March. Sorry, I can't talk. Will be the public hearing that would send it to town meeting.
Fantastic.
It'll be on next two agendas, assuming they agree with the proposal at next meeting.
And at this point, I'm just going to plan to be at the meeting on the 5th. Anybody else want to join me? Let me know.
I'll be
It's
there.
not on the calendar yet. So what time do you typically meet, Colleen?
We typically meet at 7.
Okay. I'll check with Janet and make
Yeah, I
sure.
would check with Janet. The last meeting had to be shifted to 7:15, so I'm not sure if that will happen.
Okay. But
again.
I'll plan. Last year I was unable to go. This year I'll plan on going, barring any unforeseen. That would be great. Thanks. Lastly, so we have a public comment opportunity at this point. I don't think we have any public here. Just double checking. We hit everything on. We hit everything. Upcoming meetings. We're struggling to put it together, but the next meeting in cycle would be February 26th. I hear no dissent at this point.
That would
February
be
20
good for me because then I should be able to have most of the applications reviewed for the rental assistance. So that works.
Good. So February 26th, 6:15, and we'll do it by hybrid like this, remote only. And we will double check tomorrow morning with the powers that be at Town Hall to make sure we can get that. There's so much going on these days. That's what's happening with us. Anybody have anything else? Otherwise, let's entertain. Yes.
I appreciate the hybrids because it's a little more challenging. I know we all have our challenges, but this is really the only way I could do it. So I appreciate that we continue to do this, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I just never leave my desk anymore. So anyway, with that, with that, a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor. Have a good night, all.
Good night.
Alicia.